This broadcast is appropriate for all ages right here on Jam on Toast. This is the Watch Spot. I am Kamurai. Every day talking about things and stuff we've been watching and viewing and whatnot over the week. And of course, there's all the great stuff on youtube.com/wearemovieclub. You can go check out what we've been doing there. A couple movies. I think we did Slashing on Sunday, Death Note on Monday. We talked about it today. But we watched it up together on Monday over Rabbit /Kamurai. Starting to really think about changing that URL up, but it is what it is. I think this we're doing the Vault after this tonight, and then Sunday we were doing Maximum Ride and Captain America Civil War, because I think it's going to be rolling off Netflix pretty soon, given what else is out there. So, but hopefully after that I can get some other things set up. I really got to pick a scary movie. I think I'm gonna do Alien next Friday. See what the room feedback is like tonight. But today we're here to talk mostly about television stuff we've been watching. I've put a couple reviews up on the Tumblr, jamontoast528.tumblr.com, particularly for Star versus the Forces of Evil, Gravity Falls. Can't recommend those series enough. Figured that they deserved a proper written review if I didn't actually film something, and I might. But just with the way things are right now, I want to get caught up on some gaming stuff, and we'll worry about adding a product later. Plus, I've got another video to film, and I've got to track down where a package went. So we'll see before I can get that up. Plus, I gotta charge all my cameras again, see if they even work. Be fun. Typically, when we watch television these days, we're not sitting in front of the TV doing this. Those days are gone, thankfully, and now it's more about video on demand. And honestly, I forgot entirely to pull up the CW, because I did want to talk about CW TV. You know, I'll go ahead and do that first, since that's still relatively fresh in my mind. We're just now kind of getting back from this weird break. It always hits me weird when television goes on a break. It's like, no, just film enough and be ahead that much. It's fine. It's fine. Riverdale did something particularly weird to me. I don't know why I've been fighting watching Riverdale so much, because it's such a good show. It really is. It's got all the pretty people, yeah, sure, whatever, but it's got a killer storylines, literally and figuratively, and it's just so well damn done when it comes down to it. The writing on it's phenomenal. I don't know if it's this show is actually based off the comics, but like they take a little bit of Will They Won't They with Betty and Veronica. But they re-released the first episode during the break. Like they had a dead week or two, and then they threw in the first episode of season 2 to keep people watching. Completely threw me, because I thought they were doing a flashback at the beginning of the episode, like recently on Riverdale, and then they did a bunch of stuff, and it just kept going. Totally threw me. I thought I had lost my mind. But other than that, it's really just been Crazy Ex-Girlfriend over there on the CW that's been airing during the break. And I don't know if that's just because Rachel Bloom has like words into it or what. I don't know what the determining factor is that that's the show, but good for her, because that means that the focus is out there. Now, to be fair, I think Dynasty released an episode and Valor released an episode too. And other than, it's a military show, so I'm not really drawn in on it in particular. But like it's got a hot chick. I don't know what the draw is on Dynasty. Like I haven't been able to tell. But Howie Mandel had his special. Apparently, it's the 3rd annual. Like that's the type of stuff that's happening on break. But now that the DCU is rolling back in on the CW, Supergirl came back in. We're still continuing this Kryptonian versus Kryptonian thing, and it's all feels like a pale shadow of Zod, especially with Justice League having done Doomsday, where like Zod was revitalized and transformed into some monster. So like we had the beginning of the season, or I guess the beginning of the series, where Supergirl was fighting her aunt and other Kryptonian-esque things have shown up, especially different variations of kryptonite. And now we actually have like the Destroyer, Raina or whatever her name is, who actually almost killed Supergirl. We almost did Justice League with Supergirl on the TV series. I think they were trying to play with how it pulled versus the big guy, and people did not get the messages in The Death of Superman or Justice League or whatever you want to call it, or the fact that like he is overpowered and that's part of the character and we got to get over that. Supergirl has the same overpoweredness, but like the show really has kind of railed in just her being in life-threatening situations the entire time, and mixing that in with like very normal human-y stuff. So it's good to see that. I'm getting a little exhausted by like her constantly being like life-threatened. But this is really the first time like she's been life-threatened and really lost recently. And what's more is they have the secret storyline going on that it's actually their friend that she's fighting. So, other than like Lena and Jimmy getting together being like a parallel to that, like I don't know what they're going to do with that. And I'm actually interested in seeing, because I have a feeling there's going to be a moment where like Kara unmasks their friend, because I can't remember her name, and she's going to have a vital moment of hesitation, and then like the reinforcements are going to come, and we're going to end up in the same boat again with the Supergirl down, and maybe the Legion of Superheroes will come in and save the day, because they just keep power creeping and they need to level it back out for a while and just have a story. It's how comics work. I want to just see the comic on the screen, please. They keep trying to amp it up. Over on The Flash, I have no idea why they went this direction. I don't see any benefit to it. It's just gonna... The only thing that I see happening is like Barry being outed as the Flash, and everything I can think of leads to that, because it's the only way that he's going to get a leg up in order to fight DeVoe, and it's got to be what DeVoe wants anyways. I don't see what's happening with it, and maybe that's the point, is that they haven't leaked us that much information. So I respect that, I appreciate that. But spoiler alert, Barry's going to jail. Seeing the Flash in shackles was kind of funny though, because it's like, this don't do anything. But it's good to see the show back. I'd like to see Flash move away from having a team, just like I'd like Arrow to move away from having a team, but it's good to have other characters in there to liven things up. Riverdale did come out with another episode. Oh, it looks like Arrow and Supernatural just came out with stuff earlier today, I think. Or last night, probably, and then they got released online today. So I usually don't watch CW stuff till the weekend anyways, so I'm a little unfamiliar with how it comes out. But working from home this week, I had some stuff on. Black Lightning. I thought it was Black Flash. I am fucking wrong as shit. He's actually a lot cooler than that. He apparently has electric powers, kind of like Electro. Sure, like Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2. If you want to reduce it to that, fine. He doesn't like travel through electricity or anything. He's not blue. But they did do him like this cool rad suit that kind of makes him glow funny in the dark. But he's kind of a normal guy who lives in like a shit place, trying to do the right thing with the resources he has. To the point where, like, no offense to his wife, like his wife kind of like blackmailed him out of superheroing, and then like once they have something to lose again, by not being a superhero, she pushes him back to doing it. It's totally an unfair position to do, but it was his choice. It's his character's choice to make that decision whether or not to do it. So I don't blame him for going into retirement per se. I just the weird emotional manipulation behind it is all fucked up, because like the backstory is that she leaves him because he won't stop superheroing, and because she leaves him he does stop, but that doesn't actually get her back, because she's done with it at that point. There's too much. So just in order to be able to see his daughters, furthermore he stops superheroing, which is a shame because it seems like the world that they're in really needs it. Whatever city they're in, because I can't remember honestly, really needs heroes in it. Like, we need to import some fucking people, like have Aquaman swim through or something, scare straight like that, because it seems like there's like 8 huge organized crime networks in that area, and we get introduced to the 100, and almost to a point where Black Lightning ends up taking on the gang and almost taking out the entire crew. I think the head of the gang ends up getting away. The main crew, not like everyone, but he ends up just getting away and reporting back to his boss, who supposedly was dead, and was Black Lightning's previous rival. So now that Black Lightning's back on the scene, like, he's all pissed off at Lala, the guy who's in charge of the 100. So I'm really interested to see how they do this. Yeah, it's a white guy talking about black shows. If you want to call it that and you want to be narrow-minded, sure, fine, whatever. Luke Cage is one of my favorite Marvel hero sets, or power sets. And he's a great character, and he lives in a very there's a lot of similarities here. Yeah, it's both DC, Marvel, downtrodden black characters who live in neighborhoods that aren't doing well, and they fight to do better for the neighborhood. They're street-level heroes. It's where my jam is, and if there's not a better scene for those type of heroes, it's gangbanger neighborhoods, which is why Hell's Kitchen, Harlem, wherever this place is for Black Lightning, those are my jam for Gotham, for stories. And the black and white doesn't matter. We're all people. We're all folk. We all have the same threats and benefits to life. And it's cool to see another one well done too. This is what I've been asking for too. Enough with the color washing, whatever you want to call it, on characters. Bring us new heroes. Bring us existing heroes. I'd love to see Goliath show up in the Marvel U. In fact, I would have liked him see him show up for like a whole good season before he came into the movie and got killed, because that's what happened in the comic. And I don't know if it was a big deal because they killed a black superhero. I think it mattered more that he was 5 stories tall at the time and died big, so they had to bury him as a 5-story man. But we're going to watch Captain America Civil War, and I'll bitch about that on We Are Movie Club next week. So I don't want to get too far into it here. Black Lightning gets the stamp of approval. I'm willing to bet, like, eventually I might get bogged down in the politics of it like I did with Luke Cage, but just like Luke Cage, it's not going to stop it from being a cool show. And I haven't watched Arrow or Supernatural, but it's good to see them come back. It looks like, if I'm recognizing these characters right, that we've got some junior hunters coming into the mix. And then Arrow, I think, was actually in a weird position too, because I think he was on the verge of getting arrested as well, just like Flash was. Okay, moving on to another platform. CBS. I'd like to talk a minute about CBS, because I've been bitching about a feature, and then CBS implemented it. And I'm not sure how well they did it, but we're going to find out. Because I only watch certain shows on CBS, just like I do on the CW, and what I wanted out of both platforms was the ability to just show me the shows that I'm interested in, and maybe new releases. So that, like, I can hit my shows, just like I do on Hulu. Be like, what's new? Okay, yeah. Let's see what else you got. Because instead, like, I get other stuff in the way all the time. I don't know when there's new stuff. I've noticed if you go in and you go to More, and you go to My CBS, and you can actually pick shows for it to show you on the homepage. So we're going to go to the homepage together right now. We're going to see how this looks differently. We've got my recently watched, which is kind of like a history thing. That's what I was originally looking for, was like a history. So I can roll through this. Because Discovery's back. It's only like 10 long, so it's only a week's worth at best. I keep rolling back to Me, Myself, and I, and that was all fall release. They haven't brought anything out since before Thanksgiving, because this is like 10:30 is the last episode, I think. But Man with a Plan, Superior Donuts, Young Sheldon, which I hate to say I'm liking more and more every episode. As much as I dislike Big Bang now, it's like I'm liking that more and more. Life in Pieces is great. Even when they did a whole episode just on a guy trying to get sperm to the bank. And Star Trek Discovery is the big dog for that. But let's look at this. So if I look at my latest full episodes, nope, so let's SWAT in there. I mean, Life Pieces, Mom, Young Sheldon, Big Bang Theory, and then we still have Criminal Minds and stuff. So I don't know what that did. Why, if I go to my CBS, what does that matter? Now, if I go there, I'll see it. I get like an alphabetical list of my shows, but they're in chronological order without the last one being readily available. So it's not showing me new episodes, it's just showing me like the list of shows in order. So this isn't going to change my viewing habits at all. All it does is tell CBS like, hey, I like these shows more than the others. And I bitched about this for years, especially with YouTube. The way you do it is you show the latest episode and you list everything in chronological order, so that when you click on the latest episode, the next one is the first episode of the series or the channel or whatever, so that you can roll back like 3 episodes and watch 3, 2, 1. Is there? Oh well. So yeah, so this isn't doing what I want it to do. But I'll just go to CBS homepage and look at everything, because it gets me everything I want to see except for The Good Fight, which I need to go back and try, because I like Rose Leslie enough, but that doesn't necessarily make the show good just because she's in it. But I've got new shows to catch up on too, so I gotta get on top of that. What I did notice is that CBS. Well, the other thing I noticed is that CBS added a movies tab. Tab? Is this a tab? Link? Page? Movies page. And they currently have 4 movies available, which you got to start somewhere. Don't get me wrong. But the movies that are available are interesting in itself. We've got a couple action movies. Paycheck, which is not well received worldwide, and The Italian Job, which was better received, but ultimately not well remembered. Whereas I think Paycheck was better remembered for being like a bad movie. Which I don't know if I would even throw it in the bad movie night. I actually like the movie, but it does have a lot of faults. Stephen King's The Dead Zone looks like a little Christopher Walken. Who's Stein in that one? And Children of the Lesser God, which I don't know what that is. William Hurt and Marlene Matlin to give credit. But that's it, 4 movies. So it's interesting to see CBS kind of like break into that. But I don't know, especially since I don't have a viewing history. Like, I don't know how I'm going to track movies that I watch there, or I'm going to remember to go there, because it's not what I go there for. I go there for, like, granted, a fair bit of TV shows. Oh, Star Trek Discovery. And that's really what I'm going for, like, there for the paid subscription now. Not only is it beneficial for me, particularly because of how much stuff I go through to not watch commercials, but Star Trek Discovery is on the subscription only. And like I said, like kind of mid-season, they rebooted the show in this alternate dimension, and Burnham is losing her fucking mind on that other ship. She's like falling into the Terran Empire hard, and she's trying to avoid it. And the only thing keeping her afloat before was her manservant guy that they sent with her. And it turns out they did something I didn't expect at all. I did not see this coming. I knew he was like a sleeper agent, but I didn't realize they had grafted a Klingon inside of him. So it's literally supposed to be that human is a Klingon. But he's not good at his job. He's not good at staying infiltrated because he's a Klingon, and like he keeps getting triggered and just being a general shithead. So now they're gonna put him in the brig or whatever, and he's compromised. He's a dead asset. So I don't know what they're gonna do, because in all the advancements of Star Trek, they never seem to get to a point where the medical bay can actually just take care of whoever. They never get to the point where like you stick them in a pod and it reconstitutes them. They can regenerate apples out of atoms. can't handle medicine, like biology. Like you think they have nanites or something, can't do it. So that's where we're at there, and we're gonna further this madness by going to Emperor Shoujo. So it turns out our old dead captain's the Emperor. I have no idea because they're getting farther and farther away from feasibility with all this, and we'll just have to see. I'd like to bitch about Amazon Prime for just a minute. Prime Video, rather, in particular. This is where I go to forget about stuff. Like, I just pulled up my watch list because going to videos including in Prime is great and all, but I can't look at my history, so I don't know what I've been watching on there, so I don't know what to talk about and what to promote if I don't remember it offhand. So I'll have to start doing the same thing I've been doing in a couple places, is just leaving stuff on my watch list longer than I want. But this is literally the thing I've noticed about this, is I literally leave stuff on my watch list forever and just don't watch it. Like I still got the White Queen on here from forever ago. I've got an anime, Tears to Tiara, that like I'm never gonna fucking watch that thing. Romantically Challenged, that I actually might watch. It's an old Melissa Milano thing from 2010, but the little blonde girl from Superstore, that's her most current project, it's not where she's from, is in there, and I want to see more of her, so I will probably watch that. What's this other one? Dream Eater Mary. I tried to watch that a long time ago, and that's still on here. Nikolai Tesla. Prime Original Lost in Oz. Watch that, talk about that. That was actually a really good original short, and I want to say it's only one episode long because all they could afford to do was the pilot. They never got funding. Of course, all this American Horror Story I'm never getting around to watching. I don't know, it's like Prime's just not a palatable. Oh, I guess they got the season funded. I'm gonna have to come back here and watch this because I remember that being really good. So 13 episodes, Lost in Oz was actually really good. The other show that I didn't expect to be very good was the Gordon Ward Gibbons' Life on Normal Street. Reminded me a lot of Erie, Indiana. It's another Prime original. And I've got 3 other Prime originals on here for the Marvelous Miss Maisel, which was fucking excellent. Fleabag, Goliath, and Z, the Beginning of Everything. Like, it's the Great Gatsby spin-off. And my heart's kind of turned on Christina Ricci because I used to really not like her. So, like, I kind of want to... I don't know, I feel like I want to make it up to her almost, so I want to give that a shot. But like I said, there's stuff on here like I just don't see me doing. Even American Horror Story Roanoke, because like I'm actually like Slender Man and Bigfoot interested in Roanoke because that was the colony that disappeared. That was actually a really interesting like moment in history, a real moment in history that could have been affected by any number of things: extraterrestrial abduction, Slender Man. You could make up a bunch of stuff for it, but the fact is that like an entire village of colonists disappeared. And I just really don't have anything important to say about like the shows on here, other than the Marvelous Miss Maisel really was marvelous. But since Next came out, nothing has really struck me here because why? I think I put like the Watch Circle or something. Oh, hold on. Do I not have movies on here? Oh, that's all TV. That's interesting. Like I did just add, I recently added Daphne and the Circle and the Duchess and Miss Meadows. So there are movies and stuff that are worth watching. But I put them on my watch list and then I forget about them. Like Patchwork. Some of these are on Netflix. Some of these aren't actually available for Prime Video. So I've got to like wait. Because I'm not paying $13 to watch Huntsman Winter War. Gotta figure that one out. Ooh, Pan was good. And like I'm looking at the titles here, and there are so many good movies that I put on my watch list that I haven't taken off for whatever reason. And even if they're not good movies, I'm looking at them and they're like good actresses, like Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, Keira Knightley, Jessica Chastain, Dominic Swain, Mika Burton, not Mika Burton. Sorry, Misha Barton. I think that's how you say that. The Descent. Ben Stiller. What was it? Elizabeth Hurley. I cannot remember her name. It's the girl who played Katarina from Dead Men Tell No Tales. Emily Browning from the movie Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events, and then two girls from Skin right next to each other. Now that I think about it, is Molly from Skins. She was actually in Game of Thrones too. She was the wildling with the baby, and then of course I mentioned Katarina. Pan, watch Pan if you get a chance. Watch Pan. I'm gonna have to put that on the movie club list at some point. See if I get a copy of it. Yeah, that one came out in 2015 is the one I'm talking about. And then, of course, you need like Showtime or something to watch The Descent on Amazon Prime. Quickly, let's walk through Netflix and we can concentrate on Hulu. So I did a review for End of the Fucking World. I talked about this a little bit last time. Yeah, it's great. Series of unfortunate events I'd like to mention again. So happy Netflix backed that and did that. That was a great one. Hey Jace, sorry I didn't see you before. It kind of blended in on my screen. Oh, it was just a minute ago. Okay, it's good to have you, buddy. Oh, I watched Don Quixote, which, God, the Gentleman of La Mancha. Like, I don't know if it rides the border of a bad movie, but the character itself is kind of what leads that to it. So it's well written in the worst way. Monsters vs. Alien was kind of like a throwaway thing. Maximum Ride I actually put on the bad movie list. Yeah, Russians find their way in here, Jace. I can't do anything for that. Maximum Ride I actually put on the bad movie list. I think we're going to be watching that on Sunday together. Rabbit / Kamurai. It's not necessarily that it's even terribly produced, but it just didn't show care in the right spots, so it's became enough of a problem, I think. We're gonna talk more about that on Sunday. I'm sorry, we'll talk about that more on Tuesday, but we'll watch together on Sunday. I watched Clever Man. I do my best to try new series instead of rewatching the old stuff all the time. And Clever Man is either a New Zealand or Australian style future dystopian where the Clever Man is someone who has the ability to kind of go to another plane of existence to be clairvoyant or whatever. It just didn't strike me. It was a good show. It was well done, but it didn't catch me, and that's fine. That happens sometimes. Penny Dreadful is one of those shows that when you watch it, you won't remember if you watched it, because it bleeds together so seamlessly. It becomes this one big blob in your brain, and it really is kind of the Dooku, the Dark Universe Cinematic Universe, in one series together. Because if you remember the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I don't remember if it was I think it was Universal. Universal started this big kick with trying to bring all their monsters, many of which you saw in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, together into what you call the Dooku, the Dark Universe Cinematic Universe, starting with the Mummy, and they fucked it up from the beginning. So I don't know if they're actually going to continue with that or not. I would like to see that actually happen. I would like to see the Dooku exist and they just fix what they got wrong in the first one and the next one, and just do them as independent movies that happen in the same universe, and then kind of bridge them together little by little. I think they were trying to do the Avengers right out of the gate with the Mummy, and it just did not work. I need to sit down and watch the full of that, because I don't think I caught enough of it. But Penny Dreadful is really good. You've got Frankenstein. You've got a Van Helsing type character. That was something else I watched recently. Was Van Helsing. That was actually really good. It was a futuristic dystopian zombie show. It's fucking amazing. It's zombie vampire type thing. It's one of those nice mixes. What's the other really good one? The Strain. That was really good. Penny Dreadful, definitely watch. I meant to come back to it, but I got caught up with The Magicians, which I can talk about because I actually did a review of that. But Magicians is good enough that I don't want to miss. Penny Dreadful is also good enough that I don't want to miss anything, so I let myself get distracted by throwing on shitty movies. Like, and I went through like some weird trip where I was just watching garbage. Camp Cool Kids, the Angry Birds movie, Fun Mom Dinner. I don't know why that's such a trope. A bunch of like moms or milfs or whatever you want to call them, going out and having a good time, like doing very basic things. I think it's supposed to be an example of the characters breaking away from their bonds and chains, coming back to the normal world, and then like, here's where we consider normal. This is our everyday lives. Here's where moms are because they have that weight of responsibilities that brings them down. It's a fair statement. I think we can all relate and agree to that. So when moms come back up to here, as far as characters go, it's like we went from normal to here because you can see the relativity stay. So that's what they want. And occasionally they go a little bit nuts because they're riding that high. And good for them, as long as they're not hurting themselves or others. Dukes of Hazzard, like, oh god, I get what the appeal on that movie was, but not my thing. Mostly it was nostalgia trip back to the series. But then I ran across The Vault and Before I Wake, and both those were really good horror movies to different degrees. Like, The Vault is almost more supernatural, but if you want to see what that's about, join us in about a half hour or so. We're going to throw that on Rabbit / Kamurai. I watched the Jim and Andy documentary about him as Andy Kaufman, and it was just as good as I wanted to be. Jim Carrey admits he's pretty much lost his mind at this point. He claimed he declared himself Andy, and it was manifested so. He says that right in the documentary. And he was such Kaufman. He was Andy Kaufman during the movie. He was Andy Kaufman, and he was the other guy, Tony Clifton. So much to the point that everyone like was considering like firing them, and Jim, even though Jim was the director / producer or whatever, like that discussion came up once or twice. Like, people just didn't know how to deal with it, and like the network actually held footage that was intended for this documentary for years because they didn't want Jim Carrey to come off as like an asshole, and then I guess eventually they wanted the money back from it, so they released it. Let's see, Goon, Last of the Enforcers, Furry Vengeance. Oh yeah, that was the. You want to see a shitty movie with animals talking, or not talking, but like being sentient? That's it. Brendan Fraser losing his mind over a raccoon. That was magical. That really was. Viral is a really good horror movie that I want to put on Scary Movie Squad eventually. If I had remembered it, I would have done it tonight instead of The Vault. But another one that I really want to add to that list, I think I have it on the candidates list, is 47 Meters Down. I want to say this was made as a in response to like a bad internet prank that happened. Like, they were going to put a webcam model in a shark cage and then have the cage malfunction and break. This is literally that, with two girls in a cage for like an hour and a half. Really good. They get into some technical stuff with how scuba diving works. It doesn't matter. It's very good. We did The Do-Over. It's a Adam Sandler as a secret agent type, with David Spade being the smarty guy. We watched Bright for last week's We Are Movie Club. I rewatched Yoga Hosers because I was like, I may not be doing it for movie club, but I want to laugh. So I think I put it on to go to sleep. I did the same thing with Little Prince and Beautiful Creatures. I don't know what it is with this movie, and I think Emmy Rossum's in it. And that helps. Because God forbid Emmy Rossum's in it, along with Alden Ehrenreich, Alice Engelhardt, Jeremy Irons, which is always good to see, and Viola Davis. I don't know who plays who, but Emmy Rossum plays the evil sister. It's the one person I always recognize from that movie, other than Jeremy Irons, because of Dungeons and Dragons, the movie, which is not good. Don't bother seeing that. Take the 10. Oh, I started watching that and turned it off because I realized I'd seen it before. Oh, but the girl from what's her name, Emily or whatever from The Last Man on Earth's in it. Take the 10's all about these guys being manipulated into robbing a bank or whatever for this small town. It's actually a decent movie. It's got a kind of a kinky plot, or sorry, not kinky as in fun and exciting, but kinky as full of knots. Plot to it, but it is what it is. And I recommend everybody watch Yoga Hosers once. I can't really say it's a rewatch that you're love, but it is pretty funny. It's a cheap laugh throwaway movie, especially with young girls coming. Like, it's not really a coming of age story, but like it is a young lady female empowerment type role. And given that Kevin's wife and his daughter and their family involvement and things, it makes a lot of sense, especially since he put his and Johnny Depp's daughters in the movie. Makes a fair bit of sense. But The Magicians is a fantastic fucking show, and I've done a review on the Tumbly for the first season. I'm really looking forward to doing the one for the second season after I get caught up, because it's really hard to remember like where what is if you haven't seen it recently. So I'm definitely gonna catch up, finish off the second season, and see if I can watch the third season that's out now, because it was a really good show, especially for that first season. Wow. And then I'll be honest, I'll spoil my review a little bit. In about 4 episodes they do the whole second season, and then I don't know what the fuck the rest of it is, because where we got to in 4 episodes was a really special place, and then they kind of really switch gears, and they are their own antagonists for kind of the rest of the season. That's not entirely true. I guess Renard's still in play. It's fun to see things try to take on a god. See ants try to take out a human, like plan and plot. That would actually be a really good movie. I think Arachnophobia proves it. That should be a movie somebody makes, is like have ants be the bad guy and actually plot and take it over, and maybe just do it from the person's perspective even. That'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. You don't have to do it from the ant's perspective. That'd be a bonus challenge though. So I try to watch, trust me, again, I try watching different shows sometimes, shows that I normally may not normally watch, and it just did not grab me. It's all about a liar. It's a nurse who gets in trouble at work ultimately because she's a bitch. Even though she's doing her job and saving people that other people are letting die. Like, that's really what I got out of it. But like, it's not a draw to me. It's not interesting. Because she goes to be an ER doctor. She steals her friend's identity and poses as a doctor, but doesn't know the actual procedures and everything that she's supposed to do. So she went from like saving people on a regular basis to endangering them on a regular basis. So, ouch. Before that, I was watching like Modern Family, a couple of things. Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Like I said, I've got reviews out for the first 2 seasons on the Tumbly, but love that show. It's so good. It's just so good. It's so good to just have on. I tried watching Colonia, another one that just didn't grab me. Emma Watson. I try to give her credit. It's just kind of a boring show. It's about like Peru undergoing a military coup, essentially. It's just like, I don't care. It's not that I don't care that Peru would go through that sort of thing. It's like it's watching a World War II movie again, but in Peru, and I just can't get behind the characters. They don't give me a reason to like or be invested in the characters. Let's see. The Middle, the Mick, Fresh Off the Boat. I watched The Hot Chick. That was fun. I think I watched that because I was like, oh, I miss Anna Faris doing movies, because right now she's kind of just doing Mom and being divorced from Chris Pratt, I think is his name, after all his success. Oh yeah, The Host. I can't watch that because it's foreign. I can't read and watch things anymore. I just can't do it. More Star versus the Forces of Evil. I've turned this on a couple times just to have something on. And I turned on Hulu autoplay, and I don't know how I feel about this. Because I like Netflix autoplay because it plays the show I'm watching, and then it stops. Hulu not only will play the show that you're watching, it will continue on to anything else it thinks you might be interested in. It might grab other things off your new watch or new and unwatched list, so that it plays while you're asleep. It will grab like you'll be watching a series and it will grab a movie from that list. So like I've got stuff in my history that I don't remember watching properly. I remember watching The Gifted. Don't get me wrong there. But like High Tension, I know I didn't watch any of that. I woke up to that one day and I was just like, no. There's a movie Without. Okay, on a remote wooded island, a young woman becomes a caretaker of an old man. Yep, don't remember watching that. Eon Flux, I remember the movie. I didn't start watching it. I think that came off of me watching Star Trek Beyond, going to sleep though. So I need to not do that on Hulu. But Last Man on Earth, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, great stuff. Just not a whole lot to talk about. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm really enjoying them going through the process of trying to escape the future. There's like a wonderful, like beautiful metaphor to all that, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought was a dead show, and they really brought it back, and they brought in Fitz as this like fake marauder guy. It's just really funny to see like the nerd kind of amp it up a little bit. But if they can ever get back to Earth, I think back to present day Earth, it'll be really good. I'm tired of this future Kree storyline because nothing they do in the future will matter to the ultimate storyline. It's literally a way to get away from the main storyline, to pause, continue having a show, and then come back. Because by the time they come back, the Inhumans will have come to Earth, made a splash, and then maybe even gone back to the moon. I don't remember, if I'm being honest. They didn't make that big of an impression on me. Child Spores, a new game show. Ricky Gervais is involved. The guy from Boy Meets World, Corey something Feldman, maybe. He's the host, and then Ricky Gervais is sitting at a table with a bunch of kids, and he quizzes them on stupid facts and stuff that the adults are answering in the main game for thousands and thousands of dollars. I think the kids would be pissed once they realized what the show was actually doing, because they actually are smart kids. They don't know some things, but it's usually something like out of time for them. So to me, the fun part is watching the kids answer stuff. Give a fuck about the adults. So like maybe like we'll see that just spin off into its own thing. That would be fun. I did kind of go through Invader Zim. I was planning on doing reviews for that, and after going through and not really caring about some of what I was watching, I don't know how I feel about doing it, because I literally fell asleep and missed like some of the second and third seasons. I'll have to see about it. The Detour was something I watched in between that like I did care enough not to watch it while I was going to be asleep, and fortunately it didn't turn it back on for me. But like I would literally throw Zim on when like I didn't care, because it's great background stuff, and then I'd throw like the Detour on to catch up back up with the story that was going on. It's interesting enough. It's not super great, but it's definitely interesting enough. More of the same. I'm just going back to my history. This is how I used to do this show. Because I just wanted to make sure I had more information. Like, yeah, okay, late night double feature, The Resident, The Number Station. Now, some of this, this was me actually like trying to see the quality of the movies, because we've had a problem with the quality of the movie with some of the things we've been watching. So I wanted to make sure I found things that were actually good quality. Oh, Arachnophobia is gone. I got to take it off the list. P2 was really good. Stay Alive's pretty good. I thought Stay Alive had expired. It's just off Netflix. Some good stuff out there. More Zim, more Star. The Good Place. The Good Place is actually in a really good place because they've admitted that they don't know where to go and how to do anything. So I want to kind of see that ramp to inevitable end, because we're really at a point where anything short of a Deus Ex Machina, like where God's like noticed, like I realize what you guys have been doing, and I wanna give you another chance, and then like maybe he sends them back to Earth as a reincarnation, to have a second chance at life. I don't know. Great news was fun because we got not that I just like seeing her boobs, but we got to see don't even remember her name. I don't remember the guy's. I think maybe his is Greg, and then hers is Janie or something. But it's good to see them actually start connecting finally, even if it is by her sexing it up a little bit more than she should be. Ellen Chan, I think I mentioned this last week, so I think I'm in my redundancy. Yeah, here's Speechless again. Such a weird, funny, weird movie. I potentially leaning towards the bad movie category, but I don't know how bad it would do on the scales if I actually did a review of it. Maybe that's something I'll do. Maybe that's something I can consider. I've been talking for a while. My throat's actually a little sore or whatever. Let's see what's new and fancy on the Hulu, and then we'll get on out of here. Beyond. Oh yeah, so Beyond was a show where it was all about, oh, Dollhouse is back. It's not continuing, but it's back. If you haven't seen Dollhouse, I'm actually going to stick it on my watch list because that'd be a good one to catch up and review. Dollhouse is really interesting. They essentially would upload personalities into human bodies, and then they would do whatever they got to do, whether it be hook or like prostitute, or do secret missions, or defend the dollhouse, whatever it was. But Beyond is, I can see where there's kind of similar. Beyond was something where it's like people in the dystopian future would portal back into people who had just died and replace their lives. So like the main girl or whatever transports back into a girl that, like a high schooler that OD'd, who was angry at their mom. So it's like you immediately see this weird shift in behavior, where like the kid is, in theory, getting their life back together. Oh, The Good Place. I actually want to watch that right now, but I got other things to do. And I'm constantly waiting for like another animated show to surprise me as much as Gravity Falls or Star versus the Forces of Evil. Homeland requires Showtime, so not that. I keep telling myself I'm going to catch up on Homeland. Never do. Really, I don't know if I ever have a point. I love Claire Danes. I think she's a great actress, but oh well. So there's so much out there to watch. I'll see what I can get through this week and come back and talk about it next week. If you watched this far, thank you so much. But until you see me next time, I am Kamurai. Have a nice day. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations and they'll take you to our other channels. Thanks for watching.